Hello, I'm David Greenwood for Suzuki Marine. Proper water cooling is critical to the life of your motor, and that's the job of this guy, the water pump impeller. For your do-it-yourselfers, today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to replace it. First, you're going to want to tilt the motor up so the lower unit will clear when removing it. With safety in mind, you're going to want to remove the battery leads and shift the remote control lever into neutral. Here's a little tech tip. Prior to removing the trim tab, exposing one of the attaching bolts, put a mark on the trim tab so upon reinstalling the trim tab, it's in the correct location. To reduce the weight of the lower unit, remove the propeller. It could be as much as 16 pounds. Now we're ready to remove the lower unit. First, remove the bolt that's hidden underneath the trim tab along with the 6 remaining bolts on the lower unit. Prior to removing the last bolt, be sure to support the lower unit. Here's a tech tip. Using one of your old spare 3-blade propellers, reinstall it to the prop shaft, assisting in balancing the lower unit. Now would be also a good time to remove the shift shaft that most likely came off with the lower unit. Now that we removed the last water pump bolt, it'll be easy to remove the housing. Next, you're going to want to remove the water pump impeller, the locating key, and the wear plate. Next, inspect the impeller for any missing tips. Missing tips could pass up into the cooling system, causing an overheat condition. Inspect the water pump housing for wear and warpage. Now it's time to install new genuine Suzuki replacement parts purchased from your local dealer. Prior to installing the new gasket, you're going to want to be sure to clean the mating surfaces. Be sure to always install the new locating key for the impeller. When installing the new impeller, be sure to align the alignment slot in the impeller with the locating key. Prior to installing the water pump housing on the new impeller, install some waterproof grease on the tips of the blades. While installing the water pump housing, be sure to rotate the drive shaft clockwise, allowing the housing to slide down into place. As you install the water pump attaching bolts, be sure to apply some grease to the threads. Trust me, you'll thank me next time you do this. As you tighten up the water pump bolts, be sure to tighten them up to spec using a torque wrench. Remember, the shift shaft came out with the lower unit as we removed it. Be sure to lubricate the splines and reinstall the shift shaft up into place. Now that we're ready to install the lower unit, be sure to apply grease to the drive shaft splines, the shift shaft splines, and the water pump. Next, I want to put some grease on the lower unit bolts. Now we're ready to reinstall the lower unit. I'm going to want to reinstall the speedometer tube. As I tighten up the lower unit bolts, be sure to torque them to spec. Now that the lower unit bolts are secured, it's time to reinstall the trim tab, aligning the mark. With the battery reconnected and the propeller reinstalled, you should be good to go. If you follow my instructions correctly, the water pump will serve you well. I'm David Greenwood for Suzuki Marine, and I'll see you on the water.